Hey, how you doing? Good afternoon. Happy Sunday. It is me, Daisy Chiwako. I hope you're super well and enjoying your day. I have a very important video to do with you today, all about manipulation. Now, when I posted on my Facebook page that I was going to do this video about manipulation, a lot of you were very interested, and some of you were like, look, we don't even really know what manipulation means, particularly in marriage. So we'd love it if you just broke down what manipulation is and how people are being manipulated in marriage. Because you know what? Manipulation is an absolute no. And if you know that you're the manipulator in your marriage, you need to cut it today. But I'm also aware that there's many times that we might be doing stuff in our marriage and we're using it, but we're not quite sure whether we would put it underneath the manipulation category. So I'm going to list some things that you guys may be doing in your marriage and you didn't think that you were a manipulator, but guess what? You are manipulating your spouse and it's not good. But before I do that, let me say hello to a few people that are here. Also, the ones that are here, do me a favor, share this video and we'll get right into it. Mary Bertha Apia Julia. You're welcome. How you doing? Favor, nice to have you on. Abimbola, nice to have you. Lady Naomi, how are you doing? Go ahead and share. Listen, guys, anytime there's control or fear in a relationship, that relationship is on very faulty ground. It's very dangerous and can easily become toxic. You're going to end up with a lot of resentment, bitterness, all that negativity whenever there is fear, whenever there is control. So before I go ahead and explain what I mean by that, let me read to you what manipulation is. This is the type of manipulation that you find within relationships is psychological manipulation a lot of the times. And this is what it is exactly. So psychological manipulation is a type of social influence that aims to change the behavior or perspective that aims to change the behavior or perception of others through indirect, deceptive, underhanded tactics. Indirect, deceptive, underhanded tactics by advancing the interests of the manipulator, often at the expense. Such methods could be considered exploitative and devious. Exploitative and devious, underhanded, deception. Like just even having those words within your relationship, you should know from the get-go that this is not something that you want. If manipulation refers to words such as deception, underhanded, tactics, in expense of the other person, exploitative, devious, and we on a daily basis, a lot of us are navigating through our relationships using manipulation. Some of us are only still in the relationship that we have, clinging onto it for dear life because we're manipulating our spouse. Wait a minute. Some of us only got into the relationship in the first place because you manipulated your spouse into it. Some of you had babies as a form of manipulation. And don't say that I'm lying. You know that I will always speak the truth. Some of us did that. Some of us manipulate. Some of us put our spouses in situations that they are locked in. And even if they wanted to run away from you, you've manipulated them to stay. Manipulation is never good. Do you know the other dangerous thing is some of us don't even know when we're being manipulated and we accept it and we allow it. Now, what I'm not going to talk about in this video is how to address it if you're the person that is being manipulated. That is going to be for another video. In this video, we're just going to understand what manipulation is and what it looks like, what it can look like in a relationship. So I've got a little bit of a list here, but it's not exhaustive. Exhaustive? You know what I mean? So there's plenty of other ways that you might see that you're being manipulated or that you are manipulating. And if you've got other ideas of how people can manipulate each other, please drop them in the comments. Let's learn from each other, because like I said, anything that represents such negativity, if those seeds are allowed to grow in our marriage, what exactly do you expect to gain from this marriage? What exactly do you expect to gain from this relationship? Listen, this could be in friendship relationships. Manipulation works in parent relationship. What am I talking about? There's manipulation in the church. A lot of you, some of us are going to church, to a particular church, because the pastor has manipulated us. Not in my church. So dangerous, toxic, devious, exploitative, in the interest of the manipulator. Now, listen, this isn't just to highlight for people who are being manipulated. This is also so that you can look at yourself and say, am I actually the manipulator? Now, listen, some of you know that you're doing it, so don't try and hide and be like, oh, I had no clue that I was manipulating my spouse. No, if you know that you're doing it, be honest with yourself and be like, yeah, you know what, I use this as a tactic. But if you don't know, then this is great, because you're going to find out some of the ways that you are manipulating. And listen, a lot of the times it's out of fear. We want to control this person because we're scared of losing them. A lot of the times in relationship, it's fear of losing them, fear of losing control, fear of not being the head, fear of not receiving the kind of love that you want to receive. It's fear-based. And again, anything that is fear-based is destined for doom, is destined for bitterness, destined for toxic. I can't speak today. Destined to be toxic. All very negative. So even if you are the person that is maybe, not really knowing that they're manipulating, use this as an opportunity to check yourself, because it's never ever going to end well. It's never going to end well. All right, let's start to go through the list. And if there's anything that you recognize, just check it within yourself. Just check it within yourself. So one of the first ways that people manipulate each other is knowing that this person loves you. You know your spouse adores you, almost worships the ground that you walk on. And so rather than reciprocating that with love and with kindness and with care, you use it as a control. So every opportunity when you don't get your way, you are threatening to leave this person. You are threatening to walk away. You use their love against them as a form of control. Whenever you want something for yourself and they do not oblige to you, you threaten them. You threaten with divorce. You threaten with leaving. You threaten with, I don't love you anymore. How many of us have said that to our spouse? I don't love you anymore. When we know that we do, but it's only because we want to manipulate them into doing what we want them to do. And we know that for them, hearing those words is going to burn them to the point that they will bend. Remember what the description says: by advancing the interest of the manipulator. Advancing the interest of the manipulator. So it's for your interest. You know that this person's love for you is everything. It's everything to them. And you loving them means the world to them. And so at the drop of the hat, whenever you're not happy with something or whenever you want something, you take that love back. That, my friend, is manipulation, and it's ugly. Number 2, I've seen this a lot with men that use this manipulation if they have a wife who maybe isn't as educated, doesn't make enough money, or is almost completely dependent on them financially. Especially men who I have brought you to this country. And you've taken somebody who they've come from Africa or wherever, and so they are completely reliant. They don't understand the culture, they don't understand the politics, they don't understand how things work, and they don't have any money, and they're completely reliant on you. So what do? You control them. Anything they say, if you're not happy with it, you threaten them. You're out on the streets doing whatever you want to do because you know they can't leave you where they're going to go. You're using that as power against them. You make them do things that they do not agree with because you know their fear of leaving you. They don't have anything. You are a manipulator in the worst way. You're a manipulator. If you check your heart, check yourself, it's Sunday. You've come from church, check yourself. And if you know that the only way that you can guarantee control over your spouse is by using the fact that they need you financially, for their clothing, for their home, for everything, you are manipulating them. And you get them to do what you want. You get them to behave the way you want. You get them to perceive things. This person completely disagrees with you, but you've changed them. You almost brainwashed them. Things they didn't believe in before, now they believe in because of fear of you, that you would take everything away from them. Things they didn't stand for before, now they stand for it because of fear of you. Because at any moment, you will tell them to get out. Wow, I've heard a man look at his wife and tell her, get out. And it was just manipulation. I have spoken to women who are in desperate situations. And I say to them, you tell me exactly what is holding you there. And they say, I have nowhere else to go. If I dare say this to them, if I dare tell them I disagree, if I dare tell them that this has to change, then they will stop supporting me. I have nothing. That is manipulation. In fact, it is wickedness. I've had an example of a couple who the wife called me and said she's come, her husband took her from Africa, took her to America. Sorry, my phone looks like it's not charging. Took her to America and literally locks her in the house. Can't go anywhere, can't do anything. I don't want you getting on a bus because you don't understand what you're doing. When I come home, this is what I want, like this. And if you don't do it, go then. Go, knowing that she can't do anything. It's manipulation and it's horrible. It's toxic. And how you expect to have a healthy, happy relationship on the basis of manipulation is beyond me. It cannot work. It won't work. You can't build positive on top of negative. You can't build beautiful on top of ugly. You can't. Number 3. Their mistakes. Come on. Some of you use the mistakes of the past against your spouse forever and a day. Forever and a day. Man, this thing, they've begged for forgiveness. You said that they forgave you. They gave you everything. They've tried their best. They've changed their ways. Yet, every time the slightest thing goes wrong, or you want things to go in your favor, you're going to bring up that dirty, ugly past and use it against them. Continually, their mistakes. It's always about them. You did this. Remember when you did that? Remember that you did that. And some of you will even threaten to expose them. That, my dear, is manipulation. It's manipulation and it's not fair and it's ugly and it's keeping somebody bound. You're keeping your spouse bound. You're controlling them because of mistakes that they did in the past. Come on, somebody. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that share button. because of mistakes from the past. And listen, sometimes it's subtle. I know that I did that way back when we had gone through the infidelity. We said we were going to make it work. We're working on making work. He's done everything that he can. He's apologized profusely. I've said that I accept it. Yet every small thing, especially if it's not going in my favor, I will bring up that old thing again. I will bring it up. And it's a control. It's a control thing. And it's ugly. That is manipulation. I know this isn't easy. This is actually quite a heavy video. Because some of us do these things and we don't really take it seriously, but it's very bad. It's very bad. The moment that liberty, the moment that free will is not in our relationships, we're not in a relationship anymore. Do you understand? So the moment that you have had to manipulate somebody in your favor, you don't have a united, loving relationship anymore. Even the Lord himself doesn't want that sort of relationship. The God himself, who could force us like that to all bow down before him, he doesn't want that kind of love. He doesn't want it, because it's useless. It means nothing. It means nothing. So if you're using these things to get love, to get favor, to make them do things that you want them to do, and then you pretend that, oh, yeah, this is how they are, but you know you manipulated them, then it's fake, it's false. You're living in falsehood. Your relationship is based on nothing. Another way that people manipulate each other is almost like the one that I said before. You blame your spouse of everything that is wrong in your relationship. It's always the other person's fault. Always. And your spouse is walking around with this heavy weight because every day you're telling them they're wrong, they're wrong, they're wrong. It's you. It's you. Our relationship is like this because of you. We don't connect because of you. Our sex life is like this because of you. We have no money because of you. It's you. It's you. It's you. Your spouse is like carrying this weight of, oh my God, everything I do is wrong. I don't know how to have a good relationship. I don't know how to communicate well. I don't know how to treat my spouse. I don't know how to be a good wife. I don't know how to be a good husband. How many wives feel that way? Where it's like, everything, I don't like the way you cook your food. The way that you do this is not right. And the way that you do that is not right. And this relationship is like this because of you. I stayed out all night because of you. I slept with that girl because of you. It's all you. That, my friend, is manipulation. It's manipulation. Because as you know what it says? That everything, if anything goes wrong, it's going to be your fault. So you better do exactly what I say. You better do exactly what I want, because if you don't do what I want and I become unhappy, then it's your fault. And if anybody asks what went wrong in this relationship, because I've manipulated you to the point that you believe that it is all your fault, even you yourself, you will say, it was me. How many people have been cheating on, and the first thing they say, it's because I did not do enough, I was not cooking enough, because one day I shouted at him, so he went out and he just cheated. How many women are living in abusive, physically abusive relationships have been manipulated to believe that it's their fault? Oh, it's because I always make him mad. Like, I never know the right things to say, so it's my fault. No, you have been manipulated. You've been manipulated. How many men are verbally abused continually? And they accept it because you're not man enough. You are not good. Everything that is wrong in my life is because of you. That's a lie. That's not even possible. That is not even possible. So you shouldn't even be receiving that. That's one of the most foolish statements anybody can make. Things in my life is wrong because of you. Have I got that much power in your life? You better check yourself. Manipulation in marriage, guys, is a no. No matter how subtle, how big, we don't want it. Susan says, placing your happiness into someone's hands, that's a huge responsibility. It's massive. And it's not even their responsibility. It's not your spouse to be your happiness. That's a whole other video. If I start on that, we will not come off this phone at all. The other one, oh, how many times us Christians, because you call yourself a Christian. There's that one, or actually knowing that because you have married a Christian man or a Christian woman, this person is not going to leave you so easily. So you continually take advantage. Continually take advantage of this person because, you know, well, the Bible says that God hates divorce. So once you are married to me, you will die in this marriage. And because of that, I will control you. Wickedness and deceptive. It's a lie. God hates divorce, but he loves my life, and I will not die because of marriage. So you can't manipulate me with that. I'm either here for free will, but I'm not staying here because of fear. I'm not staying here because of control. You will not use my Christianity, the love of God, my desire to have a great marriage. You will not use that against me. Every time I have a slight slip up, maybe I've lost my temper, maybe I got angry. Now suddenly you're going to start questioning my Christianity and use that against me. So now every time I feel like I have to be walking around like a perfected person, I am not Jesus Christ. You can't be manipulating me like that. No. People will use your Christianity to manipulate you. Oh, you're a Christian. You're supposed to be like this. Doesn't matter about my behavior. You are supposed to. You're supposed. Oh, what about this one? The woman is supposed to be serving her husband. At least if you're going to use Christian manipulation, check your Bible properly. At least do that one and see that actually all I have to do is submit to you. Your job is to completely love me like Christ loved the church, and that means actually you serve me. I mean, if we're gonna go there. People using your Christianity against you. People using the fact that you will forgive. You will chase peace. You will look for unity. You will choose love. Using their past, people using your past against you. So, you know, you got married and you had that moment where you shared everything about yourself, which is great, which is, you're supposed to do that because this is supposed to be your safe place. But then this spouse will use your past, your dark secrets, the things that it took so much for you to open up and share them. Now they use it in every argument. They'll bring it up. Oh, because you were abused when you were younger. Or because you used to sell drugs. Or because you used to take drugs. Yeah, you were an alcoholic. You were an alcoholic. That's what I'm seeing now. And the fear of exposure keeps you bound, keeps your mouth shut, lets you put up with things that you're not supposed to put up with, because you're like, this person knows me, knows my past. I can't afford for him to tell anybody. I can't afford for him to go and tell my parents. I can't afford for him to go and tell his parents. I can't afford for him to go and tell the church members or my friend or my social circle. Vice versa. I keep talking like men, women from a woman's point of view, but men, you might be the person that is being manipulated. So just switch it back. I'm not trying to be sexually biased here or biased to the sexes. Your past. Do not allow your past to keep you bound. You are set free. Your past is the past. It's behind you. So whether this person wants to expose you to the world or not, you do not allow them. Husband or no husband, wife or no wife, you do not allow them to manipulate you, to change your perceptions, to change who you are, to cause you to do things that you don't want to do, to change your behavior through manipulation. Now check this. It's different if somebody's trying to say, look, this is the way I really want you to see things, and you discuss it through and you can be like, yeah, I understand, okay, right. But to use fear, control, that's not the way we're supposed to go about things at all. So do not allow. And listen, if you have given somebody the power to use your past against you, it means that you yourself have not been released from the past. You have not let it go. Someone just put up a good one. Ignoring your partner as punishment. Ooh. And especially, that one's a big one, especially when you know that you have a spouse that can't cope. I cannot cope with that. That can be so painful. And it's manipulation. So suddenly this person that wasn't in the wrong, this person that you are the one that's done the bad thing, it was you, but now you've chosen to ignore them, so that they suddenly start thinking, oh, because of desperation, because the atmosphere that you've built in the house, they're just so desperate to clear it so that you can speak to them again. So suddenly they're the ones saying, I'm sorry, I won't do it again. Do what? It was you. But you've manipulated them. Come on. And sometimes it's because you don't want to admit that you were wrong. So rather than admit that you were wrong, you would rather put your spouse in this horrible bondage, in this place where it's so uncomfortable for them. And we call it marriage. We call it love. It is psychological abuse. It is emotional abuse. Look, I'm getting myself all worked up here. It's so ugly. It's so ugly. And listen, both men and women, because I know women that will say, hey, well, I'm not going to speak to him for 4 days. And you will spend 4 whole days not speaking to your spouse. Wow. 4 days. Even a whole day is too much. Even a whole day is too much. Especially when you know within yourself, they don't deserve that. When you know within yourself that you're actually protecting your own pride. When you know within yourself that you are doing this because you want them to see things your way. That's control and manipulation. Just because we're married doesn't mean that I'm going to accept everything that you say, everything that you believe, everything that you stand for, everything that you, however you see things. When we're different people. That's the beauty of marriage. We don't get married to be exactly the same. My charger wants to die, but it's charging. One moment. Okay. What if he has pride? A lot of manipulation stems from pride. A lot of manipulation stems from pride. Oh, guys, you won't believe that my phone does not want to charge on this important video. All right, let me move quick so that it doesn't die on you. Children, people use children as manipulation. Women, you know that you can do that. We can use our children to manipulate our spouses. We can use our children. The other one is desperation for a good marriage. This person knows that you're desperate not to have a failed marriage. So they will manipulate you. They'll manipulate you. Charge it quick. I don't know what's going on. It's plugged in. I don't know what's going on. The devil is a liar. The devil is a liar. Some of you will use your own children against your spouse. Wow. Against your spouse. Use your children as pawns between them. It's so ugly. Look, I'm gonna, just because of the battery, and I don't want it to just cut off on you, I'm gonna draw this to a close. I'm definitely gonna address this again because actually it's deeper. And just reading some of your comments, there's some other ways that you guys are feeling like you may be manipulating somebody or you are being manipulated by, and I really do want to touch on them. The other thing that I want to let you know is that if you are a newlywed or you are engaged, so newlywed between 1st and 3 years of marriage, or you are engaged, I really want you to sign up for my free webinar, 6 surprises of marriage. 6 things that are gonna potentially surprise you, but I want to get you prepared so that you're ready for them. They don't hit you, you know. So register for that. It's an event happening online, and it is absolutely free. So once you finish on here, go ahead and register for that. Listen, I am going to do another video on this in the next few days. The next one is going to be what to do if you are being manipulated. I'll pick up some of the comments that you guys have put in here now, and we will talk about them, and we'll talk about what to do if you are being manipulated, how to stop it without necessarily losing your marriage. Because some of us are so scared that if I come against this, that means the end of my marriage. That's exactly what fear wants you to do. Think of the absolute worst thing that can happen, when a lot of the times we just need to know that people only treat us the way that we allow them to treat us. We've allowed it, and so they've continued. I'm sponsoring you with a professional social media camera. Look, if you do that, I will love you to the point. I will love you to the point of manipulation. Please share the link to register. Yeah, I absolutely will. Literally, as I come off here, I'm gonna charge my phone and put it on. I'll put the link on. But also, if you scroll up the page, you will see the event. If you click event, you will see it there. You will see it there. Hi, I clearly understand you, but the question is, I'm the only one who has say sorry in the name of love. Yeah, there's a number of people that are like that, and I do need to address that in terms of how to deal with somebody who, if you're married to somebody whose pride never allows them to say sorry. It's a whole other video. So I'm loving these comments that are coming in, because each one of them I'm going to definitely use either within one video, or I'm going to create a series of videos around this, because obviously this was a major one for you guys. And I can hold my hands up and know that there have been times that I've used manipulation. Listen, I didn't even talk about sexual manipulation. And wow, did that escape my list? Huge one. Some of you guys are using sex to manipulate your spouse. Withholding sex. Giving sex to somebody else. Ooh. Even emotional affection. Starving your spouse of affection to manipulate them, to control them. You give them affection like it's a sweetie for good behavior. Guys, if you're not already following me, do so. Hit the follow button. Hit the like button. If you haven't shared this video, make sure you do. And I will see you on Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Look, I've made a promise. Wednesday night, 8 p.m. BST. I hope I stick to that promise. I hope I haven't got any counseling sessions on that. Okay, Wednesday, 8 p.m. BST. If I don't have a counseling session, I'll check. I'll put a comment up and confirm. Oh, talk about counseling sessions. If you guys want to have a counseling session with me, either as an individual or couples, just go ahead and message. I've just finished a load of them, so I've got a couple of empty slots at the moment. So if you want to get them quick. Also, I am accepting bookings now for 2020 in terms of speaking engagements and coming to your events and speaking to you guys. So get them in because they get booked up quite quickly. Right. Good night.